Welcome to Small Business Stories with Louisiana Catalyst. I am Mike Downhour. This is Quentin Durr here, and with us is Jana Elkins from Northeast Imaging. Welcome, Jana.
Thank you so much for having me.
A lot of people may not know about your little space over on Lammy Lane, but you have got an incredible thing that's been an addition to the Monroe, Northeast Louisiana area. In a nutshell, explain what Northeast Imaging is and does.
So Northeast Imaging is an independent facility that offers MRI, CT, X-ray, and ultrasound for patients here in our area and the surrounding areas as well.
So if you offer that, so do all these other places. Why are you different?
So we are a standalone facility owned by Capital Imaging Services out of New Orleans. We're one of 41 facilities, and we offer cash prices for patients. We have competitive cash pricing. We also accept most insurances, and we're contracted at a lower rate than most hospitals. And so patients can also save sometimes 30 to 50% on their copays by coming to us instead of somewhere else. And this is great because especially, with the way prices are, people are constantly trying to, save money where they can without sacrificing quality as well.
Right. Now, not only is it a cheaper alternative, what about the time frame? I've seen people schedule where it takes weeks to get this test. What about you?
So it does depend on what scan you're having done. As we've gotten busier, MRIs are booked out typically anywhere from 2 to 3 days to a week, depending on kind of the season that we're in. But other modalities like CT, X-ray, and ultrasound, we can most likely get you in same day or next day, which is a great option. A lot of other places, you'll hear 2-3 weeks out.
Right.
And as a patient, you don't want to hear that because you want to know, is there something wrong with me? So we're happy to provide that quick service for patients and providers as well.
Monroe Chamber was blessed to be able to, first of all, have you join, and then we got to do a ribbon cutting over there.
Yes.
And then you won one of the T.H. Scott Awards of Excellence. Mm-hmm. We are very proud with what you're doing and how you're doing it. And I know the company is based out of New Orleans, but what does this mean for our area as far as alternatives to other forms of testing? I mean, what does it mean for us with that?
Well, this just tells patients that they can shop around for their health care. Just like you want to buy a new TV for your living room. You can check out all the stores that sell TVs and find the best price, the brand you want, and obviously you're going to go with, the most affordable price. You can do the same thing with your health care. And that's kind of what we want to promote and let people know that you can do that and not always, listen to when they say, okay, you have to go here or you have to go there. You can say, wait a second, I want to look at this other option. And it's been a really wonderful thing for our area as well. And I've enjoyed marketing to providers and educating them on, this service.
Well, one of the things that we got to do at your ribbon cutting was we got to meet your staff. You have an incredible staff. I'm sure you want to brag about them.
I do. I would not be successful without them. I have an awesome lead technologist. He is so smart because I am not clinically trained. I'm very much on the marketing and the business side. And so if now I've learned a lot, but I get a question all the time, hey, are you able to do this study? Because there's lots of different studies, that you can perform on these machines. And so I call him up real quick. I'm like, hey, can we do this? And he tells me yes or no. And I mean, without his backing, I really don't think I'd be as successful. And my girls at the front desk too, they handle all of the insurance, the scheduling, fielding phone calls. I mean, endless jobs for them as well. So I could brag on them for days because at the end of the day, we would not be successful if we all did not work together.
As a patient, how do I use your services? How do I schedule those services? And what does my doctor say about your services?
So if you are a patient and you go to your doctor and you're having a problem and the doctor says, well, I think you need to have an MRI. At that point, you can say, well, I've heard great things about Northeast Imaging. I would like to try their facility. The doctor can then fill out an order form and fax it over to our facility, and we call up the patient and we get you scheduled. pending, a pre-authorization from your insurance if that's what you're going to, use, or if you want to use cash. We just work all that out once we get you on the phone. So yeah, that's how you do it.
And if I need to call, website, things like that, tell me how to do that.
Yes. So you can call our office.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, the office number is 318-570-4985. And then our website is capitalimagingservices.com. You can find all of the information you need on our website, all of our locations. We are in Shreveport, Alexandria, South Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, Florida. We're everywhere. So, but we're happy to service Monroe as well.
We talked about options, which is always critical for healthcare, right? You got technology, which is great. But for you personally, why Monroe, and where do you see y'all's company as far as growth-wise in Monroe the next 3 to 5 years?
So I guess a little bit about me. I was born and raised here in Monroe. I graduated from River Oaks and went on to LSU.
She's a Mustang.
I am a Mustang, a very proud alumni. But I went to LSU, had a great time there, but always knew I wanted to come back home. My parents are here, and I knew I wanted to be close to them. And so I started working, and I had a desk job. And I knew that was not for me. I have way too much energy for a desk job. And my dad is in sales. And so he really thought I would be good at it. And so I knew I wanted to get into medical sales. So this job kind of fell in my lap. I remember praying, asking God to kind of lead me to where I need to be. And I got a phone call one day after kind of putting my resume out, and ended up with this job, and I've been with them since 2018. I started with them a month after the company put its roots here. And we started out in a mobile unit with one MRI machine. It looked like it was like the back end of an 18-wheeler. And after, they did that to test the market to see, is this going to work? It worked. And so I believe it was 2020, which was,
just in time for COVID.
In time for COVID, kind of a tough year. But we were able to get a building, and were able to add CT and X-ray. And the growth just went from there. I mean, we just kept climbing and kept climbing, and it's really just been a wonderful thing for me personally. I have 2 young children as well, and so it's been a great job for me as a mother and a wife, and I feel very blessed to be where I'm at.
One of the common themes on this Small Business Stories podcast is the fact that Boomerang, they went to school, LSU, other places, but they come back home. There is no place like home. No, and we're just glad that you and many, many others are still choosing to do that. To those that have not moved back home yet, tell us why you would recommend doing that.
So for me, Monroe has always had kind of a small town, but it's got a small town vibe, but it's not necessarily small town. You've got lots of options, and it's got kind of a bigger vibe to me. I really think the only place Monroe can go from here is up. There's so much potential for growth, and I'm currently trying to talk my brother into moving back home. He's living in Baton Rouge. But I just think you can't go wrong in Monroe. You can get anywhere in 5 minutes. Right. It's just great. I've always really loved it. After living in Baton Rouge, I didn't want to deal with the traffic.
Well, we hear that from Dallas, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Denver, places, people that come back from there. It's like no matter where you go here, you can be there in 20 minutes max, and you can go to the grocery stores, know people in there versus other places where you're just another blip on the radar. Yeah.
Another thing that I've learned through marketing is that to have growth, you really need to be social. And you really need to know people and connect and network. And so I always try to attend things where I know there's going to be a lot of people that are involved in the community or involved in healthcare, for instance, because I want to make those connections with people and see if I can help them, with imaging. Can I get a contract with you? Can I, come bring you lunch one day and sit down and talk to you? A lot of those connections happen at things like the gala and or in the grocery store. And so growing up here has really helped me more than anything, make those solid connections.
All right, well, Jana, without breaking any HIPAA violations or anything like that, tell us a story or two that's come from maybe test results or something from Northeast Imaging.
Well, I can't really speak to test results because I don't often review those, but I can speak to my offices that I talk to. For instance, I had a nurse last week tell me, oh my gosh, we love using you guys. Y'all are so quick, so easy. We get our reports within the same day. We're able to schedule our patients, within a day or two most of the time. She said, we'll always use you guys. And that just tells me like we're doing something right. Mm-hmm. To hear it from, the nurses that are having to work with insurance to get authorizations, having to call places to figure out where they can get their patient in. It just feels good to know that we're able to service them and give them quality service. So
Lammy Lane is your address. Tell everybody exactly where you're located and your website.
So we are located at 1703 Lammy Lane, and our website is capitalimagingservices.com. So please go check us out, give us a call, go to our website, and we'll be happy to help you out.
Jana Elkins, Northeast Imaging, thank you for being on Small Business Stories.